Matthew was so desperate for a solution to all of this. And he talked about, it's time for me to have a wife, and it's time for me to have children, and I want that, and I want a dog running around the house. But he didn't appreciate the frightening aspect of this medication.
From the sorrow of the loss of their beloved Matthew to a ketamine overdose and all those lost dreams, his family is finding healing and continuing the work he found the most purpose in.
He said this is how he hopes people remember.
Yeah.
That the first line isn't about friends, that he tried to help people.
Yeah. And it was important to him.
Yeah.
I think his biggest drive to be sober was when someone came and asked him for help, he would drop everything and do it, no matter where he was in life. He wanted to feel and be physically and mentally okay in order to help people when they needed it.
After he died, that was, by and large, the only thing people came up to me and would say, like, they said the only reason they were sober was because of him and because of what he did to help them. He would pay for them to go to rehab.
The one the whole world knew was Chandler on Friends.
You have to stop the Q-tip when there's resistance.
Wanted most of all to be a friend to people like him fighting a desperate battle.
When a man or a woman asks me to help them quit drinking, and I do so, watching as the light slowly comes back into their eyes, that's all God to me.
Now, his mom, Suzanne, stepfather, Keith, and little sisters have created the Matthew Perry Foundation of Canada and the Matthew Perry House, which will provide housing and other services to those in recovery.
Matthew used to talk about being a really, really great at rehab. Not so great at the time that came after.
Yeah, sure.
And that's not a Matthew thing. That's a everybody thing. When people are leaving a recovery center, we want to take them by the hand and help them get through that time until their brain is finally able once again to say, yeah, I'm okay.
For decades, those closest to Matthew witnessed the toll drugs and alcohol took on his health.
One time when he had his colon burst, the doctors told us there was less than 1% chance he'd survive the night. To watch that poor son of a gun go through all of that again and again was just so heartbreaking.
It is. It's heartbreaking, but it's also, I'm sure, anyone who's ever loved an addict knows that it's despair and frustration and sometimes anger.
And sometimes you're mad, yeah.
One of the problems that it does for families, too, and we don't talk about that as much, and I plan to, is how destructive it is for the families, because nobody knows how to act.
And we need different ways of addressing it. And Caitlin is working on that sort of thing now with some extremely bright people here in Canada who are doing advanced research into addiction.
It's a love letter to Matthew in the hometown that meant so much to him.
These are the courts where Matthew would play.
Yeah.
As a boy, Matthew spent most of his days playing tennis at the Rockcliffe Lawn and Tennis Club in Ottawa.
Did he have that charm on the tennis court as well?
No.
He was fierce.
He was just fierce. He didn't say a word. He went out and he played the match.
There's a lot about this place that seems so sweet and gentle, and I'm sure it brings up a lot of memories.
Matthew went to school nearby. That was when he really started acting.
Yeah.
He developed the excitement for it, and people thought, this kid has some talent.
Yeah, he stole the show.
It's also where Matthew met his lifelong best friends, Brian and Chris Murray, whom he credited with inspiring that signature Chandler intonation.
Could she be more out of my league?
And that's from, God, elementary school. We had this really nasty librarian. And I remember one of us saying something to the effect of, wow, could she be any meaner? And that kind of stuck, and we started talking like that in questions.
So when you saw Chandler Bing for the first time on Friends, were you like, wait, that's us?
Yeah. Well, that was him too, right? So that's the way we spoke. Didn't expect the world to start speaking like that, obviously.
Who wouldn't want to, change the world a tiny little bit? Yeah.
Chris and Brian, who's on the foundation's board, stayed close with Matthew over the years.
He spent his last Christmas here at my house. I don't know, somehow that's comforting.
How did he seem to you? He just seems like he was on the right path.
He was absolutely on the right path. He was writing, he was reading scripts, he wanted to direct. You know, the book had just put a massive spark in his step.
A loss that was felt by millions around the world, but no more so than by those who loved the one they still sometimes called Manu.
These are beautiful lights being extinguished from people's families all the time. And I get comfort out of thinking that doing the work that we're doing, helping to keep some of those lights burning, turn them back on, if you will. That's Manu.
Wow. They still call him Manu. One of the girls couldn't pronounce Matthew when they were a baby, and Manu stuck. You know, what's interesting about that house where we shot the interview is Brian Murray's house. So that's one of his best friends that you just saw in the piece there. And actually, a long time ago, the Morrison family lived there. Keith and Suzanne and the girls and Matthew, too, would visit there when he was older in that very house. So there's a lot of memories in Ottawa, and it meant so much to him.
That was such a special conversation.
And we should mention there's a lot more of Savannah's conversation. You can learn about the Matthew Perry Foundation of Canada on our website at today.com.
It's the fact that his life, so much of it seemed to be consumed by addiction. And now in his death, his family has devoted their lives and his friends to helping others who are struggling mightily with it.
Worth mentioning again, Keith, you know, our friend from Dateline, it's just that we wouldn't be talking about this so openly if he hadn't talked about it so openly. If he didn't think that will make a difference, and let's hope it does.
Let us switch gears. Mr. Roker.
That's going to be his legacy, too. Yes. Really special. Hey, thanks for watching. Don't miss the Today Show every weekday at 11 a.m. Eastern, 8 Pacific on our streaming channel, Today All Day. To watch, head to today.com/allday or click the link right here.